Greetings, my name is Meticulous, back with another building session for my Wirt and Beatrice BrickHeadz. So, if you may remember in my last part, I said there were a couple of things I had to tweak and then the models were going to be finished. Yeah, between that part and this part, it's been a week. And so, I was going to do a couple of little modifications and it turned into a big mess. And when I probably should have been recording, I wasn't because I didn't anticipate everything spiraling out of control. And, well, let's just say that it's been about 5 hours worth of working on the model that you didn't see. But I'll catch you up all to speed, because it was kind of boring anyway. So, if you recall, I was going to choose what color to make the under his arm, because originally I just had this white here, and I didn't know if I wanted it to be gray, dark gray or white. I ended up choosing light gray because it kind of fits, because his pants, like, his legs and to torso ratio are kind of wonky. This kind of fixes that, like it makes his legs and everything look taller. So that was a pretty convenient fix. And the other thing was I was trying to decide, I wanted these little side bits of hair. So these two, this one I mounted the hat one plate up and everything worked out fine. This one with the hat a level without the extra plate, I had this convoluted system trying to get everything mounted, and the little side bits of hair weren't even connected themselves. So I was doing a lot of tinkering, and I finally came up with something like this. So what we have here is, once we get into the inside of the head, is we got our bracket here, and I'll hide this one and I'll get some more of the stuff out of the way. So we have, this is just a tile here, 2x2 tile on some plates, so that's just kind of a spacer. Attached to the back of the head here, I have 2 plates and an inverted bracket, followed by another plate and another inverted bracket, and then this is just extra. This mounts the side bits of hair. It gets those brackets connected. But then this bracket here, it comes up on a plate and on a 2x4 tile attaches to this bracket, which then attaches to this bracket, which attaches to the rest of the hair piece. So if we get this extra stuff out of the way, see these two, we got a bracket here, and then we got the bracket here, and then this is connected by that 2x4 tile. All of that is well and good, except there was one problem. When I tested this connection in real life, between these, like this brown bracket here and this gray bracket, it just was too tight. Like, it was just too tight, which was really a shame. So I had to go and finagle and figure that out, which I'll get to more of that in a second. Another thing is with this setup that the hair, or I should say the hat, was not going to fit. So I devised this method of the integrated into the back of the head. I have these the plates with the studs on the side. So this correlates precisely with where the studs would be normally attached in the 4x4 grid here. This attaches on the side, and then this, fortunately, since the hat is 6x6, it fits over here. And I also, because when you just have studs on the back of the head, the hat could tip backwards easy, as I realized in my physical prototype that I made. So I added these pieces on the sides of the hair. So this way it gives more surface area for the hat to connect, and it gives a nice solid connection. The only problem with that is I have to utilize these tiles, and these don't come in brown. So that's this setup right here I'm not going to be using, because obviously I'm not going to just be like, oh, Lego's going to come off the part. So I did devise an alternate method for that, which I'm going to show you, because I have my final version of the model off to the side here. But I wanted to show you the prototypes that led to the final version first, and the rest is just the same. Nothing else has really changed here, so it's just all that. So if we come over here, and for this one I attached the piece that I originally wanted on the top of the hat, just for the sake of kind of completion, but it would be using the plate and those 2 slope pieces, since this doesn't exist in dark red. But if it did exist in dark red, like if they ever release it, I would probably go and change that up. But so this version looks almost identical to the one we were just looking at. However, really the big change is, well, inside, and also here, I've got the in the other versions, I always attach the these door rails on the side of the head, like where this piece would be. But because I need instead of I got that plate with the studs here, instead of it being in the center of the head here, I have to push it one back. So if I'm gonna push it one back, I can't attach the door rail here. So I attach the door rails onto the back portion of the head, and that so it's it looks the same. It pretty much is identical. The door rails aren't an exact specification. So for instance, if I actually flip this around, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. So see, it goes a little farther out here, or it would go a little farther out sideways. Oh, you can't really even tell here. Again, it's so minuscule and so minor, it doesn't really matter if it's attached onto the side of the head or the back of the head. It's just one of those particular things that I notice. So, but it's not something I'm like, oh, great, it's ruined. So, that's attached onto the back of the head, and as I showed you before, the piece to attach the hat is back here, and now we got 4 studs. And I can't attach the ones on the back of the head because of the way I fixed the hair. So we'll go back once more into the side of the head here and show you finally what I came up with. So pretty much the same setup. I got this time it's just a brick and then on a plate with the inverted bracket, and then that's how the side pieces of the hair attach. But what I found out is that this is a perfect 6 long distance between where the hair piece is and where the back of the head is. So I devised using a couple of, or I should say just a bracket. So like, this is the first layer of the back of the head, and then on the second layer I have a 2x2 bracket. So this I got attached here, and then attached 2 1x6 brown tiles, and this way these tiles go straight to the front. They go straight to this bracket here, removing the need for that second gray bracket. So this frees up the tension between where that problem was occurring. And so now it's all, so this hairpiece attached all the way back here. And I was really careful to note, because of the distance, I wanted to make sure this piece was not colliding with the tile here. And it looks like everything is okay, because since this piece, it kind of, like, it juts out here, it's a little bit kind of funky, but I'm pretty sure everything is all good with that. So that was a very convenient solution. But now you'd be like, oh, well, why can't you just attach the hat on here? Well, the only problem is the studs are still shuffled slightly. So if I wanted to put a 1x6 here, I can't. So that's why I got the studs here on the sides to attach a hat. So this area is just, it's null and void, and that's why it has to be a tile. Because I originally, I wouldn't have to do all this rigmarole back here, because I could just put a bracket here and like chop off this the space here. So if it just ends here, but the problem is I would need a 1x or a 2x5 or 2 1x5 reddish brown tiles, which unfortunately don't exist because I can't fit anything. Like if I had a 2x4 or like a 2x3 and a 2x2, there's no way to connect the junction here, because I couldn't like get a bracket in here and do all that weird stuff I would need to. So I had to go all the way back on the head to attach that front hairpiece. But that, it actually worked out very nicely, I would say. There's no like bars attached to clips, attached to sliding stuff. Oh, but I can't remember, and because it has been a week, well, actually let me see, because how did I mount this? Okay, I might not have shown you this, and if I did, I can just maybe speed it up or cut out here. But with this, the part to attach the front here, let me chisel out some of this stuff first. So I needed this big bracket here in order to attach the front of the shirt. The only problem was I have, with the rest of the build, no space for studs up here. So, because it's built sideways to attach the front of the face and all that stuff. So what I ended up doing is taking this bracket and flipping it upside down, because why not? I could have supposedly used 2 of these brackets in dark gray, and if I did that, what I would have had to have done is I wouldn't have been able to use this piece, so I would have replaced it with using this arm for example, I would have had to take one of these bricks with studs on it, and the bracket would have went underneath here, so I wouldn't have had room to attach the bottom arm, because you'll notice this would have been a bracket and stuff, because I need this light brick here, so I can't chisel any of that out. So what I would have just done is taken a plate like this, made it dark gray, and then for the front bit, I would have just tacked that on and made it white. So it would have had the same impression, because from the back you can't tell. You would have been able to see from underneath that the back part of the arm is gray and the front is white. But I was willing to go with that, just to use a more orthodox building technique. But because these pieces don't come in dark gray, I had to go and mess everything up and build as I usually do, very convolutedly. So if we chisel out the inside of here, I use this technique on my red BrickHeadz. I have these 1x1 tiles with the bar on it connected to these plates with clips, and they're upside down. So then that just attaches the bracket there, and it's a perfect ratio. So you can easily flip parts upside down, and there's no half plates or half whatever's going on. But in order to reinforce it a little bit, I did attach a inverted bracket onto it. And I attach that bracket onto this piece here, because this, it would have, I'm using one, you could put one with studs here, like if you just wanted a 2x2 plate, but that's really, really close connection, so I prefer this piece here, which is nice and convenient, so that way there's no studs smashing into this bracket here. So, moving this stuff out of the way, and then it's just attached onto the rest of the plane of the head. So I think this is, okay, this is just a plate, but then this is one of the 2x2 plates with the studs on the side, and that connects and everything matches up pretty good here. So theoretically I don't need this connection here, or I don't need this upper connection, but it's a little bit of redundancy. I didn't really realize that when I was constructing it, but I'll probably just leave it, because after all, this does have to be upside down, so it's not like it's hurting anything having this thing here. I suppose if I like chisel this out, then I could just put a plate here and replace the rest of this with bricks, and that would make it a little bit sturdier here. Like I would actually have a core. That might not be a bad idea. Granted, the rest of the build is kind of supported on the arms. So looking at that now, I may do that just so I have a little bit more stability here. I'll see, probably just on the when I finalize the final LDD file. But yeah, so I believe that's it for the modifications I did to this. So visually, as the aesthetics, it looks the same as before. It was just all the internals that I was messing with. So but yeah, so this is then Wirt, and I think, it turned out good. I mean, again, there's quite a few things that have been hindrances, like, I can't get as many buttons, and this hair piece was goofy, and even the cloak, trying to get all that to work out. But I mean, right off the bat, it's like, if you like pop up a picture of Wirt and then the BrickHeadz, it's like, yeah, you can see it. And I've probably been looking at them for so long that it's starting to wear me down. Like, like if you've ever worked on something, after a while you're just like, this is just, it's like, it just kind of wears on you, because it's the same thing, especially when you've been designing it the whole time, trying to get to its final state. When you finally get there, it's like, okay, I'm done. So I'm sure if I came back to this, I'd be like, oh yeah, I can totally see that. But yeah, we got all the key features. I say we got even the red inside of the cloak there, which I think even though there's not a whole lot going on, the fact that it's seamless, I really like how that came out. And the side of the hair, I don't really know. There's not a whole lot that you can do with it. I've debated whether just making this a plate, but I just kind of like how it looks a little more wispy, just a little dimension there. But yeah, the side of the hair, there's really not a lot going on. Nothing going on in the back of the head. The ear, I've been wondering, because he has such big ears, I've thought about putting them out, because currently I have them attached a half a plate out. But I've been wondering, and I can even just try it here, if it would look better if it was a full plate out, I don't really know. So let's go and test that out and see what happens. But other than that, everything's pretty good. So, oops, come on. Got one A there. And let me see, pop this other ear off. But of course, you know, this building section wouldn't be complete if I had never finished Beatrice, which I also did that in the downtime. Which that is, well, we'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, so don't think I forgot about Beatrice, because she's just around the corner, and we'll get to her just as soon as I'm done finishing with work. Okay, so I don't know. Depends on, again, these are BrickHeadz, so it depends on how much of what do you call it? You want to deviate from the actual source material, I suppose. Because again, I mentioned this in another one of the parts. With the ears, I don't know why Lego, when they released the Lloyd and Master Wu BrickHeadz, they gave them ears, even though they were based off of minifigures, and minifigures don't have ears. So I don't know, but so we got this. The one on the left, we have, actually let me pop the same hat on just so we have complete consistency here. But there we go. So, you know, we got the one on the left has the ears farther out than the one on the right. I suppose it probably couldn't hurt to go with that. I'm used to, like, I don't know. I feel like I should, just for the sake of he has huge ears, but I don't know, I kind of like him looking a little more normal. Great, that's one more thing for me to think about. Again, maybe I could just do it on my off time, because it'll just be me spinning around my head, oh, what I want to do. And, okay, I have to make sure, because just noticing this bracket here, I'm sure it comes in tan, but at this point in the build, I don't want to find some other giant, big, gaping problem and have to go and fix the whole thing. Okay, yeah, it comes in tan. And plenty of sets. Okay, we're fine. Don't worry about it. So, I feel like just for the, I don't know, for the sake of, like, source material, I really should just put them out one stud. That would simplify some of the internals of the head, but I'm not concerned about that. But he just looks so weird. I mean, not that he doesn't, I suppose, but it's not something that I really want to, I don't know. Let me leave it like that. Maybe I'll get used to it, and we'll go on. But, so, that's all with Wirt here. And now we will head off to Beatrice here. And this, I don't know, because if you remember my original prototype, it was all fine and dandy, looked pretty decent, but I mentioned that this piece does not come in medium blue, so I was going to have to redesign the wings. Well, I ended up redesigning the wings, and yeah, I don't know. But at this point in the game, I'm kind of burnt out with trying to work on this, because I guess it was a really bad idea to make my first mini BrickHeadz a bird, considering the fact that this piece did not come in blue. And I guess I should have realized that was going to cause some issues. Like, if this was at least a person BrickHead, like, it's a BrickHead, so it's supposed to be square, but birds are not square. So, and obviously with this one, it really pulled that out. Like, it curved it off very nicely. But now, and even here, what I do like about it is, after comparing them, the original one, the wings look really, really tiny. But on the, well, even here, spread out, you know, she's got pretty decently sized wings. And they do go the length of her body here for the most part. So I feel like this is more, I do kind of like the look of it, I suppose. It's a little bit messed up, like, it's not really sleek. What I don't like is when I look at it from the front. Yeah, mine looks kind of ugly. The one from taken after Hedwig looks really sleek and looks really nice. Mine just looks so chunky and blocky, and it's not, it doesn't look like a bird from the front. It just looks kind of stupid, if you ask me. Again, from the angles, it looks fine. From the front, it looks really poor. I really like how the curve and the swoop works on the first prototype I made. So, but it's medium blue. I didn't really realize is, well, again, it's not all the color palette's fault. It's the part's fault, and not. Again, I just dove too deeply apparently because I was just expecting it to, oh, you know, just be a copy and paste of Hedwig, and we were gonna be fine. But we weren't fine, and I ran into issues that I didn't really anticipate because crossing the squareness of the BrickHeadz with the curved nature of how to make a bird did not flow well for me, and so this is the best I came up with. Again, I'm not really happy from it. I mean, it looks alright. When you compare it to the other, though, like, if the other one isn't here, I mean, yeah, it looks kind of, it looks alright, it's passable, but when from the front we see from this other one, this one just looks so much better. It's just so much better. So, yeah, I'm kind of disappointed, but I kind of don't know where to turn with this one. There's just not really a whole lot, there's not really a whole lot I can pull off here. Because again, we're shrinking the BrickHeadz down, and now I'm trying to add curves into it, and it's just, I mean, this is the best I'm gonna pull off with. I'd really like to just, I'd like it to look better, but I've went over so much stuff at this point, and again, I'm kind of burnt out from it. Again, from working with Wirt, trying to get that hairpiece on, and then this with the wings, I didn't really want to have to deal with it. So, but it'll work. It'll work. It's Beatrice. I mean, it looks like her. It's like you got the gray head, the blue wings, and the rest of the detail. So, you know, I don't really know what else I can do, but, and, you know, it looks fine. It looks fine. It will definitely pass. You know me. I just got this highfalutin standard that I don't even know if I can attain. But okay, so top it all off, we I can pop up the final rendition, and so this is how I would have it in the LDD file, or like when I save it, I oh, what do you call it? When I put it in my folder of BrickHeadz. So Wirt is number 30 I've designed, and then Beatrice is number 31. So and then I don't know if I'm gonna keep this here or how I might put a note saying, hey, you know, use this hat and whatever. So so yeah, that has been me designing Wirt and Beatrice. So if all I have to do is figure out what I want to do with the ears, again, I'll do that in downtime. If you want to see which ear design I chose, there will be a link in the description to my Brickshelf page where I'll have photos in the LDD file for this. Or you can check out my latest BrickHeadz showcase, which this will be featured in. So, yeah, it's been, well, you know, hopefully you got some enjoyment out of it and I wasn't too just dry and rambling. But that is how I design my BrickHeadz. And in fact, most everything I do now, because digital designer has just been so useful with building stuff. It's a shame. I'm kind of disappointed at how useful it is, because I tend to discount just the building in real life when trying to design stuff. But I still do it with the bigger models, like with my figures. With the BrickHeadz, digital designer is so much more useful because a lot of it is color coordination. And you can do that right off the bat here. Like if I was trying to design work, first of all, I need reference pictures. So the computer is just straight up, it's nice, it's right here. But then color coordination, and Bricklink's color database, knowing what pieces come in what colors, I can immediately shut off an idea if that piece doesn't come in a color, or I can go with it if I think later it's going to come out with it. So there's just, it's so useful when designing BrickHeadz to do it in the computer, like between floating pieces and, I don't know, I could probably just go on and on, but you get the idea. So, yeah, and even after, and I'm working on something now, and the techniques that, if you build BrickHeadz like this, which is not quote-unquote standard, because again, this piece, a lot of stuff like this hair piece here would have been a printed tile if Lego had done it. This front piece would be printed. A lot of the techniques that I do, you know, are technically null and void if like you were really, if they were like, I guess, real BrickHeadz. See, I cheat. Well, obviously you've seen this whole design process. I cheat the living daylights out of the design process. Again, that's because I can't make my own colors, can't make my own parts, I can't make my own stick. Well, I could make my own prints, I suppose, but I don't know, that would be another beast in itself. I prefer building the texture into it, even if it is convolutedly convoluted. But I've learned so much about like, you know, the ratios of plates, half plates, and bricks and studs on the side. So if you want to really learn Lego principles, building a BrickHeadz in this fashion is a really good idea, because before I would try to attach pieces on sides and upside down and they wouldn't work, and I'd be like, oh, why, and whatever. But when you learn what pieces are what category and how to combine them together and what works and stuff, it cuts out a lot of that mystery. And Lego has such a perfect formula with everything. There are very few pieces that don't mesh for some reason, or they're very weird parts, or even just some I can't remember if I showed this, but while I'm talking on the subject, and you're probably like, well, just stop the video already, but I'm getting there. So this is one of the things that confused me for a bit. If you have one of these bricks with a hole in it, technically brick that you can, you know, put a peg into, this anyone who's worked with Lego knows that you can take a brick with like one of these holes, and you can attach a plate, like a stud in it. So that's really good. It's like kind of the reciprocal of using a brick with a stud facing forward. And it's like, oh wow, that's really nice. However, I have found that if you were to connect these pieces together, and I don't know if you can see it here, but notice the baseline of Digital Designer, how it goes down when I attach them together. And you can even see Digital Designer actually shows this off very well. There's a little hairline gap there. And a stud can still fit on that, but you'll notice it's not all the way clean. This is actually what really happens in real life. If you were to put these two together, that would cause problems depending on the situation that you're involved in. Because if you wanted to try to attach this piece on top and this piece on the bottom, and actually 2x2s would work better. So if we had a 2x2 here, and then a brick, and a 2x2 here, well, it still kind of works, but this technique is not quite as solid as you would imagine, depending on the situation. And originally I was like, why would Lego do that? And I finally came to the realization that in order to attach the lift arms onto this peg, and if you wanted a tile up here and a plate under here, that had to be where it was. Okay, well, now looking at this, appears they could have lowered it, but regardless, I'm guessing the reason why they did that is because this piece is supposed to be used with Technic parts, and if this was lowered, that would not work with the Technic parts. As unfortunate as it is, it's supposed to be Technic based, and for whatever reason, it's designed that way. So, but like regardless, other than that, everything has like its, I guess, proper place, and everything usually can fit together. So, and that's where I can build something like this, parts upside down on the side, clipped to this, attached to that. So yeah, having that knowledge, you can really go far with it, even just building other stuff if it's going to be intricately comprised. But I think I've stopped rambling. So, okay, we better finish this video now before something else happens. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the series, if you watched just this part or whatever, you can go check the other videos if you like, or just my other BrickHeadz, or you don't have to. So yeah, thanks for watching. Maybe if this was enjoyable, I could do this in the future, perhaps with another BrickHeadz, perhaps with another model. It would be really cool to design one of my full figures like this, but that gets a little more involved. So we'll just stick to the BrickHead for now. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, goodbye.